welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with DVD. How you doing? Now, come on into my house. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button. You will be notified when I upload a video. Share the video. Because why? Sharing is indeed caring. Now, I think I'm going to start calling my new Piping Hot Tea Discovery. So this is going to be a Piping Hot Tea segment about Black men and our relationships to them. You know, I'm a Black woman, so I was going to say Black men and their relationships to Black women. I guess I could say that still. But I'm going to attach the video of Shannon Sharpe's interaction with Monique. It was brought to my attention that it was something that Monique said that was kind of left out of the actual conversation. And I think it's a deeper conversation that needs to be had in regards to our relationships with Black men. Now, in that video, you can hear Monique kind of what we consider chastising Shannon on dating not just, dating young women, not just dating white women. And she says, well, I know you date Black women because your babies are Black. Stop. Full stop right there. Now, if you can recall, Zuniga Gabby wants him to put a big old Black baby in her. Now, we know that even if with the darkest of dark skinned, that baby wouldn't be Black. Even if the baby has a brown skin complexion, baby will be biracial. Let's call it for what it is. And I think that's another problem that we have in the Black community. Because I've seen a lot of Black people get really angry when biracial people say that they're white. I think the stigma goes to us being, or the biracial person being considered Black because of the one drop rule. And I've always kind of tried to stay away from that. Now, allegedly, come on in, listen to this. And some of this is my opinion, and I did the research, okay? So, here's where I'm going to go. Now, according to People magazine, allegedly, the 3 women in Shannon Sharpe's life that were Black were pregnant at the same time. Allegedly, by this story reported by People, the women were pregnant in 1992, which means that these 3 children are not triplets. They're not twins. They're not by the same woman. They are by 3 different Black women. Because remember, Monique said the children are Black. So I did a little research to find these women. I only found, through the research, I only found one of the women, which her name is Erica Evans. And she is the mother to Kiari. Now, if these children are the same age as Wendy Wills she called them hood triplets, right? So let's explore this. Why did 3 women allow pro football player Shannon Sharpe to impregnate them? Now, Shannon had beginnings. Now, this is what's really strange to me. I thought that, which is very normal in the pro athlete world. Normally, Black men who go to predominantly white colleges marry or procreate with white women. That's generally speaking. Well, in this case, through research, I found out that he actually went to Savannah State. And Savannah State is the oldest black college in Georgia. So that got my mind just to thinking. Now, he's from small town in the South. He knows the reality of things in the South. Had much changed. You could say it has if you want to. It has in regards to us being able to sit at the same lunch counter. But if we're going to be real about things and let's just have an honest conversation, allegedly, and in my opinion, black men are still looked at as a threat to the white society. If that wasn't the case, then a lot of things wouldn't be going on. Now, racism is nationwide, don't get it twisted. But the fact of the matter is that I thought that he would have a deeper understanding. Now, let's explore further into what Monique said. Now, Monique said also into this statement that she said, well, you need a black woman, right? You need a black woman that can cook. You need a black woman your age. Women our age, I'm glad that I don't have to look anymore. So we have a black man, 56 years old, still looking, dating younger women, which she gleaned out of that. And then she also gleaned out of this, he was dating white women. Y'all, I was like, dating white women, younger women, plus Monique is sitting here doing what I call as mammifying black men. Not mummifying or acting as if they're their mothers, but mammifying them, which means that you take some sort of authority in the conversation. She presented it as if it were a joke. But I believe, and this is my opinion, that Monique really was not joking with him. And he sat back and laughed at the whole thing. Ah, ha, 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 ha. So let's get into the O.J. Simpson syndrome. Let's ask ourselves, are the reasons that black men tend to date white women is that their ego and their emotions are so fragile that they can't handle what a black woman is giving out? Now, why is it that we are perceived as angry and bitter? Who in our circle, as black women, and we always come to the rescue of these black men, who in our circle could be giving us these labels? Who started these labels? Where did the angry black woman trope originally start? I suspect that it started with black men. So black men put this trope on black women, and then it crossed over into society. It crossed, I suppose that white men could say, well, hell, their own men don't date them. Why should I? Or white men and others that assume these characteristics that are placed on black women. And then you have the black men that also very often go into the black community, go into the white community while dating white women and put these tropes on black women, while at the same time having black mothers. And another question. Remember, Monique said that Shannon Sharpe has black children, which means they're by black mothers. Why is it? Let's ask the question. Let's ask the honest question. Why is it that even though these attitudes and all these types of things and tropes that they put on black women, why is it that all these things can apply, but usually out of the women, the black woman is chosen to be the first person to carry and produce their children? Let's go with Harry Belafonte. Let's go with Martin Luther King. Let's go with Sidney Poitier. We go all the way back to those. Those are the three main ones that stick in my mind because they were so adamant to integrate. The very thing that no patriarchal society really wants when you are in the system of patriarchy that's led by white men. But black women are good enough to procreate with when you are what? Poor? Struggling? What is it about black women and their attitudes you can deal with to produce children with initially? With the exception of Kobe Bryant, maybe. A lot of successful athletes, black men, in football, basketball, in that realm of people, a lot of them have children with black women. One, they don't usually marry them. You have that. Then you have people like P. Diddy. And P. Diddy is what I call a fence strapper. But as I've done the research, I did find out something that really, really shocked me. And this is what we don't always recognize, but I remember, I can't remember what her name was. I think her name, it's not Elise Neal, it's Jaleel, Leo. Her last name is Leal, Eleal. She's Filipino. And in many cases, a lot of times when black men procreate with Filipino women, the children come out to still have some features of Asian people. But a lot of times it's for skin complexion, they come out dark skin. I want to say that the young lady from, and don't quote me on this, Married to Medicine LA, I want to say that her mother was either Filipino, Vietnamese, or Korean. Usually those three combinations carry a more, as far as complexion goes, carry more of a dark complected people. So I said that to say Miss Leal, Sharon, her name is Sharon Leal. We didn't know that she was biracial just by looking at her. She said what her mother was, and that was a surprise. And that takes me back to P. Diddy. P. Diddy's Kim Porter. And this was brought to my attention when I said, well, P. Diddy did, have children with one black woman. Black mother, black father. And then it was like, no. Kim Porter is biracial. So that would kind of explain the look of Q, her oldest child. And of course, the definite contribution from the genes from the father, the actual biological father. I'll be sure made that happen as well. But I'm saying how it was that those genes were able to just completely dominate. The boy is 5 times lighter than Kim. Then you look at Diddy's children with Kim. And even though those children are dark skinned, they have what black people consider as somewhat the features that we deem more acceptable in the black community. They have curly hair. Kim had that. A loose, I wouldn't say curly hair because our hair is naturally curly. It's not nappy or kinky or tight. It's a tighter curl pattern. It's a coil to our hair. And the coil for people like Kim Porter is looser. It's a looser coil. It's not as curly. So the other children, and this is also brought to my attention, if you think about it, there are no children that he has besides Kim's children that possess the actual phenotype of black people. They all look biracial. Right? And that's because these women are racially ambiguous. I go back to the question again. What did Monique mean when she said that, no, Shannon, you have kids with black women? But if you go down the list on women that he dated subsequently after the baby mamas, because, even in the article, where black women have come to the point where we find that to be disrespectful now. But if you go back, even in the article that brought up about this man, 3-time Pro Bowler, educated, and a commentator, they called the black women baby mamas. The 3 black women that he impregnated, that he has children by, they called them baby mamas. No disrespect. Listen to me carefully, Linda. Listen to me, Linda. No disrespect of calling any of these women, that he had these dalliances with that can be considered abnormal, because they are now accusing him of ASA. Right? So when you get to the point where you accuse someone of SA, then you have the factor that you have these black women on the right side who's never accused him of anything. Ask yourselves, do white women take full advantage of their ability to accuse black men? Now, I'm just saying, with the Cosby accusers, for example, I do not doubt for 1 second that these women are telling the truth. But do they have the upper hand being white women? I think so. Is it that none of the baby mamas, as People magazine called them, or none of these baby mamas of Shannon Sharpe, did he have those proclivities or desires before? Did he want to do these things to black women? And this is the mammifying that we have to stop doing. If he did these things to black women too, then how come they didn't come forward? When I say proclivities, I really believe that was in him. Then, if you listen to Monique, she said too, something that we suspect as black women. Well, they're freer. Did you hear her say that? You'll hear her say that in this video that I'm going to attach to this video. Or she didn't say, well, her exact words weren't free. I want to say she said more, what was that word she used? More open to experiment. I'll put it that way. Did Shannon Sharpe think that he could be able to more so experiment with the types of sexual activity with these white women? Did he maybe talk to black women about doing it and like, hell no, I ain't doing that? And that's where the attitude comes in. Because a black woman will tell you, generally speaking, what she ain't gonna do. You will find some that's willing to do whatever you like. You will find some to do that. But not very many black American women. We have our limits as to what we will do. And a lot of times, those limits come through from the repeated sexual assaults throughout our lives. And I don't just mean our lives. I'm talking about our former lives. Right? A lot of people tell us, get over slavery because that was not you, that was your ancestors. Your trauma can be passed on for generations. The trauma of my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother being pulled off of a boat, and then once pulled off of that boat, thrown into the fields or thrown into these houses to work for master, and then him repeatedly raping them, that's trauma. That's trauma that can be carried on to each and every woman. That's why a lot of times black women are not as free sexually or free to experiment. Look it up. It's trauma. That's why you don't hear, that's why for years, and I can go back to an episode in the 90s on Maury Povich when a boyfriend had left his wife for a Caucasian woman. And she said to Maury, well, Maury, she sucked his dick more than I do. I can't satisfy him that way. Then she called the Caucasian woman a nasty bitch. Because throughout our lives as black women, and we talk to because my mother freely talked to us about sex. We're going to be real about it. That's why I say my mother was liberal. But it's one thing that she always said about oral. That's nasty. Right? My mother was a boomer. And black women boomers will say, that's nasty. Or either they say, that's white folk shit. Right? So when I say that type of trauma was passed along, and they never say that black women, that was a thing that we started out doing from the beginning. That was something that was taboo and reserved for Caucasian women. So we adapted, right? As black women. Let's talk about the mammifying. We constantly adapt. Well, now that white women do oral more, let's get into that. Right? Maybe that'll keep our men. Let's calm down the attitude. Maybe that'll keep our men. The only thing that we have stayed steadfast in is that's getting our educations. And now that getting our educations is beginning to become a thing where it's intimidate. Am I saying that right, dog? I know how to say intimidate, but I'm talking. But Now that's becoming a thing where that's intimidating black men. And now we're saying, well, we want to appear demure, quiet, right? Uneducated. Because if we appear demure, quiet, and uneducated, then those are the things that they prefer in white women. Maybe that'll bring them on home. Mammify. So we can be the women in these pro athletes' lives. We're doing everything that we could think of that's possible in order to keep our black men home, right? Quote unquote. I'm throwing up quote signs, but you won't see me doing it. It's gonna be, how I do my videos, okay? You won't see me on camera, but you'll know. And I might put quote fingers up with memes or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, quote unquote. You have black men out here that's saying, look at the way these white women look when LeBron James runs down the court instead of his wife. Shout out to Kevin Gates on that. Is that his name? Gates? The one who messes with his cousins and Brittany Griner from Basketball Wives. Whatever his name is, you know what I'm saying. The black woman is just not looking at LeBron as if he's the king that he is, like the white women are. And then to come to find out that I think that Brittany, converted to Islam because of him. Is that right? Is that what's happening allegedly, that she was supposed to have converted because of him? And to have, and he can be in the NOI because these men are supposed to uphold and uplift black women, right? Isn't that right? Why would you talk to a black woman that's been married to this man, particularly her whole life, about a man that runs up and down the court that's admired by white women that are fans? Fans. Or groupies. Let's just keep it a hump. But that's the kind of admiration you want. You don't want the kind of admiration of a woman who has probably done everything that she could probably think of behind closed doors to satisfy this man. Keep him at home, had children with him, made him a home, made him part of what he is today because of her standing by his side, regardless of what he's gone through. He knows. If he knows that he has a queen at home, he don't have to look for the court jesters. Okay? Kevin Yates or whatever your name is. But that's what you want. That's what you want him to do. And what's up with the encouragement of black men to want all of these unattainable goals for black women? But you give us nothing. But yet and still we do what? The fuck? We still mammify you. Still throwing on the capes. Saving you in these bad situations. Even with Shannon Sharpe being the man that he is. And a lot of black women, yes, a lot of us have said this is not our fight. Let him stay over there. But a lot of it comes with the resentment of him doing these things to white women. When he was over here, remember what I said earlier? When he was over here with the black baby mamas who he didn't marry, he didn't have any allegations. But are we not putting allegations on these men because we won't be believed? I still stand true into my opinion, but being that it's no way that he's never done that to a black woman before. We live in a patriarchal society that just do not take our anything seriously. Right? Not just SA, but something as simple as us having children. Our pain is minimized. Now, I'm not simplifying the feat of having children, because the feat of having children is amazing, right? We're bringing a whole life through bringing a whole nother body into the world. I'm calling it a simple feat, as in it doesn't have to be the way it is in the medical community, how black women are treated. I'm sitting here, when I was having my anxiety, I'm sitting here telling them, yes, it's anxiety, but it's something physical that's causing it. So I've never had anxiety before in my life. Most of the time it's brought on by something physical in your body. Then come to find out that I have autoimmune disease. Right? So a lot of times when you have a mental ailment, something physical brought it on. I knew my body. I'm like, no, I understand anxiety. I understand how it works. I understand that it'll cause your heart to race. I understand that, it may cause your body to shake, or you to have night sweats, and this, that, and the third, and the fourth. It wasn't until I went to a black nurse practitioner who literally listened to me that sent me to specialists, to get me to the right people, to have my blood drawn by the right people. Not just cholesterol checks. Well, I talked to one of my practitioners, and she literally said to me, I don't understand. I've given you all the tests. I don't understand why you still having tremors. We put you on medication. Right? But it wasn't the right medication. It wasn't the right medication to regulate the tremors. I was like, look, though, I stopped drinking coffee. I've stopped eating chocolate. Yet it's still tremors in my body. Right? Well, the anxiety will cause that. That's what one of my doctors said. What about the nerve pain in my feet? The tingling in my feet? Well, saying that it's just anxiety is saying that it's mental only. Okay? So nothing that we say as black women is taken seriously. So is that why no black woman, why we big up in black women and saying, hey, if you have stayed over here, this wouldn't have happened? How do we know that? When I feel that whatever he had going on mentally, that was in him from the beginning. Maybe a white woman introduced him to those things, and that's where he feels comfortable doing those things. But on the same token, it has to be at least one black woman he did it to. Just like with Bill Cosby. Now, ask yourselves this question. Is it better that Bill Cosby did it only to predominantly white women, or that R. Kelly did it to predominantly black women? The black women weren't believed. White women were believed by other white women, but by black women, because of the ramification of the black man, we said no. Even the black women on the R. Kelly side were like, we come to save these black men with no real proof that they didn't do these things. Even when we see proof, we still question the system. What is that question that we always ask? Why is American society out here trying to tear a black man down? And because Shannon Sharpe has pissed us off so badly, we didn't take him at his word when he said it, but he knew that he could use those buzzwords, right? What did he say in the interview? When he was trying to clear his name? What was the thing that he said? Well, eyes are being targeted. Just like Jay-Z was targeted. As a black man. And there's no doubt that these white women are trying to bring me down. Right? He was able to use that because he knows that guilt or innocence in the black community depends on whether we believe the women that are making the accusations or not. And 9 times out of 10, we're not going to believe the accusation because of the what? Malfication of black men. And we stand by them when they don't do the same for us. And that's just what it is. That's the reality of it. And as I close, before I do, I want you to come in. Don't just like the video. Because I want you to like the video because that gets me up in the algorithm. Listen to the words that came out of my mouth. Ask yourselves these questions. What are we doing amongst black women and black men where we think that guilt or innocence depends on our status in the world? OJ, as I look back on things over the years and how I reacted on emotion. When in all actuality, in the back of my mind, I questioned myself, could he have really done it? Could he have really done it? So going forward after that, I didn't base my opinions on the emotions that are invoked when we hear a black man being accused by a white woman. I went by the evidence. Let's listen to the evidence. Let's see this thing play out. Because these white women that were involved with Shannon Sharpe could be telling the truth. We do have audio, right? We have audio of what, in some of these cases, that transpired, allegedly. So, with that, I'm going to close. Excuse me. Again, my acid reflux, y'all. If y'all know, you know. Again, like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button. You will be notified when I upload a video. Come on in. Come on in. Make sure you comment on this very, very, very serious topic. As I do when I close, I'm going to chunk them up. Deuces.